All right, hello, welcome. I'm a bit bored today. This is one of those public holidays where everything is closed and you can't really do much. So rather than do nothing, I decided that I was going to try something out that I sort of mentioned in the last video, and maybe you'll enjoy this. See, the thing is, I'm one of those DMs who I feel like I'm creative enough to build off of a skeleton, off of building blocks that have sort of already been put in front of me. But I'm not creative enough to just kind of sit down and make it up. Okay, I'm back. What I want to do is I want to use the deck of many things that I showed off in the last video with the sort of breakdown of making a one-shot, but this time actually make a one-shot out of it, not randomly. So we're going to do a top-down view of these cards. We're going to flip them out, see what they are. I'm going to take like, I don't know, a couple hours maybe to actually come up with a bit of a story for you and then run you through what that would look like using these cards as that resource. So the way this works, in case you don't know, top card is going to be how our party meet. So what brings them together, a location, a person, and that comes out like this, the well. I have no idea what the well is right now, so it goes here off to the far side so it all fits. The well is going to be how our party meets. The next card is the tree. This dictates through what means. Is there a puzzle they solve? Is there a person that gets in their way? Is there an enemy? What's going on here? So this is how the party gathers and then what brings them together. This third card is the journey. So it is what takes them on their way to the next place in the game. And it is the ooze. So I have no idea if that's any good or not. The best part is anything can be good because anything can be what you want it to be, but I'm just going to go with the book and build from there. This next card, our fourth card, is, I believe, the entrance. So it's the entrance to wherever your final story will take place. And we have got the comet. Looks pretty imposing. Maybe that is a pretty tough puzzle to begin with. After that, we get three things that come down, three cards. And those three things are three major challenges along the way in your dungeon, in your city, in your place. It doesn't mean that they're the only challenges. There'll be little minions along the way, but they are the three key things that your players will face to get to the treasure. So our very first one is the upside down flames. Also, if I didn't mention, everything has either an upside down or reversed state or an upright state. So we have the upside down flames. We have the reversed Fae, which is pretty cool. I like Fae, so really excited about that being in there. And finally, also another reversed crossroads. So three reverses as our challenges along the way. The treasure, that is the tomb, followed by the guardian of that treasure, so your big boss. And that for us is the cavern, which is in its reverse form as well. So this is the layout that you would normally get. And what I found is as I was building up my last one, I was creating this story that then didn't make sense with my guardian, or it became a bit trickier from there. Whereas if you take a look at it as an entire piece, from here, you can actually look at the meaning of all the cards and find some kind of through line. So that is what I've got. That is what I'm going to be building a story out of. It's just going to be, in my mind, a one shot for you all. And I'm going to go and spend a few hours researching, making some notes, and working on that. And then I'll bring you back down to this table, but you'll see my face and I'll talk you through this entire setup. So see you in a couple of hours. Okay, so here we go. It is like, I think it's been like 5 hours on that, so I hope it's any good. Anyway, so we're gonna come back to where did we begin with our game, with our story? And I've pretty much gone through, I've used this guide to start helping me begin the starting point of figuring it out. And I've got notes as well. So I've got notes, made some notes in my little book. I went online, I looked at a few different creatures, I looked at a little different traps that might be worth having, didn't pick any of them. But the idea is that I got something for you. And even better than that, I typed it up in like a little Word document. I'm going to put in some kind of maybe Google Drive that you can copy it over. If you want to use it, you might just watch the video, but hey, who knows. So we started off with the well and the tree. So the well and the tree were actually our beginning points. So that's how our players meet. I've created this make-believe place called Oakwood. Oakwood is the village that we will be playing our adventure in. And I put a little bit of lore behind this as well. The backstory, I guess I'm going to read it out to you, is that below Oakwood is an ancient stone giant fortress. Over 1,000 years ago, the giants were invaded by a power-mad elf who wielded a great and terrible sword. The sword cursed by the Seelie Queen millennia ago when a band of Fae betrayed her, and as legend goes, she cursed the Fae creatures, creating the first Darklings. The sword is now known as Sorrow's Steel. It was a weapon of the Fae leader, the first one that betrayed her, and was cast out of the Feywild into the mortal plane, where it was found by an elven warrior named Aldra, who became consumed by it and waged war across the lands. That's sort of like a little bit of backstory, a little bit of history for anyone who really enjoys that sort of stuff. But the thing that's happened here is that down in the fortress when Aldra fought the stone giants, the stone giant king, though lost, and they're all pretty much killed except for one, who comes up later in the story, they actually cursed him and imprisoned him in a very Han Solo-like, instead of metal though, in a stone tablet. And so he's actually imprisoned in that, and he was lost to time. The elven mayor of our town is actually, he's half elven. He is actually a descendant, from long ago, descendant along the line of Aldra. And he has learnt about this ancestor of his, and he would like to free him. And so he's a bit of a, I guess you'd call him a bit of a villain. There are a few other NPCs along the way. There are 3 missing in the town. So that's where our well and our tree come in. The well is the place. The tree is sort of the, I guess, inciting incident, the thing that's kind of getting our players there. So the tree is actually the fact that the players need to investigate some missing people. There are some missing townsfolk, so that's what gets them there. They're hoping to make some coin from it, perhaps, or maybe there's some other alter meaning behind it. The point is the players want to be there to help find the missing people. They start investigating and they find out that 3 people have gone missing. An old miner, a herbalist, and I can't remember who the other person was. They didn't really come up though. A guard, just to kind of add to the mystique. And through their investigations, you as the DM want to lead them to find out that all these people went missing around this old well. And the well itself is like more ancient looking. It's, you know, made of like certain types of stone, almost dwarven in a way. It's kind of special. But now that people have gone missing there, the mayor of the town, who his name I gave was Lorwyn, the half-elf, he's actually put guards around the well now to keep people away for their safety, not for their safety. And the players, along investigating and kind of figuring out what's sort of going on, they realize that they're being trailed. And that's where we get to the ooze card. And now the ooze card itself, I know you're thinking, how's that an ooze? But in the little guide, there was a phrase there for a person, and it's actually a helpful NPC that knows more than they should, and they're quite quiet and they're unassuming. So I figured, who is unassuming in a town, who is quiet but who has information, and how could this person link into this story? And I've come up with the librarian, and his name is Thornton. Like Horton, he is a who. Thornton, the librarian, he's actually the one that's been sending out the rumors of the missing people. Now, they're not rumors, the truths of the missing people, because he was hoping to get some adventurers here to find them, but also because he believes that he has uncovered a secret fortress below the town itself, and that there might be something going on. And so as the players interrogate him, because chances are when you tell them that someone is following them, that they're going to go after them straight away. Hopefully they get to the library where they can have a quiet conversation rather than out in the streets where they try and just capture him. But hey, they're your players, you figure that all out on your own. I'm just putting ideas out here. They find Thornton and he explains to them that he has information on the missing people and where he thinks they've gone and how he thinks you can get there. But the thing is, he doesn't want to give that information up, because now that he's been sending out the messages for heroes, essentially, the rumors, he believes that he is about to be targeted and he's about to be killed. So he wants to trade this for protection. Again, that's up to your players to solve. I think the one thing I enjoy about making a one-shot is you just put a problem in front of your players and get them to solve it. The basic run of it is that at nighttime, some Darklings are going to come and they're going to kill him. He gives them this certain information though, that there is a secret entrance inscribed across the wall of the well that should take you to a secret fortress of giants. And the phrase, the passphrase, is written in giant runes. And so the way that he figured this all out is that one of the missing people is a miner who was a dwarf who can read giant and pass this information on to him, because he's been researching all of these hidden ancient cities, and they got to working together to perhaps maybe make some money out of this. But obviously that didn't work out for the dwarven miner. I'm pretty happy about the phrase that they would have to read. This is all written down in the document if you go to the Google Drive and just use it. Change it however you want, but the phrasing is, where is it? The world above is but a fleeting dream, a dance of light upon a surface. To enter our sanctum below, bring your mind to the grounded stone of reality. And I really like that, because I was looking into stone giants once I decided, wow, a giant could be pretty fun. I did toy with dwarves and Duergar and drow and just elves in general. And then I thought giants are pretty fun, and we never really see stone giants, so why not use them? So they have this phrase, and if they know that, then they can climb down the walls and they can go in. And look, at the end of the day, if your players can speak giant or read giant and they manage to sneak past the guards and climb down and see that, they go in. Unfortunately for Thornton, he dies. Oh well, tough luck. Moving on to our to our comet. Our comet is the entrance. So the entrance, it doesn't have to just be a very specific place that they enter. It's things that can happen along the way, things that can happen at the entrance. So I know that the villain that we have here is an elf, and it's got to do with darklings, and there's some fae in there. And so what I've set up here is when they get through the challenge of the hidden secret phrase, they follow a tunnel, have a couple battles on the way if you want of creatures, and they get to this grand fortress underground. That is, at first, to them, it looks dwarven made because it's so well sculpted, but as they start to investigate it a bit more, realize, no, this is actually built by giants and for giants. And then they're ambushed by displacer beasts, blink dogs, and other fey creatures. And this should get your players thinking, well, what's going on here? Because these aren't native creatures here. Not even the fact that some of them are just going to be Feywild native. They aren't, even if they were to be on the mortal plane, they're not really, you wouldn't normally find a displacer beast or a blink dog underground. They're more, I guess, forest-like creatures. So that should start to ping some of your players going, hang on a second, something's going on here. This doesn't feel like it's going to be a standard like drow, or it's going to be a standard like Duergar, or I guess giant-ish problem. There's someone coming in here and doing something, and it's Fey related. So there's a little bit of magic going on. Once they get inside, they get their 3 challenges. We had before Crossroads, Fae, and Flames. They were our 3 challenges. So what did I do with them? I'm actually really excited about this. So the Crossroads, this card is really cool. This card was saying how it could be someone who is at a crossroads literally, and there is like a dilemma they can't solve or a problem they can't figure out, and they're stuck between 2 choices or more. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool if one of the NPCs that was kidnapped or went missing is actually down here, and they've got this weird imprisonment where they're not actually chained up or anything. They can kind of technically leave whenever they want, but the problem is they choose not to, and for what reason. So here is what I came up with. Down in the fortress, there is 1 stone giant left, and he's like the eldest one. He's probably going to die out eventually. He's not as strong, so if your players are low level, you could obviously have them be, he could be weaker, or if they're high level, buff him up and make him still super strong for, I don't know, because he's old. So the thing is, one of the NPCs that I made up is a herbalist. And so his whole thing, Mr. Thalor, obviously TH is a very popular phrase for me. Thalor Greenbloom is a herbalist, and he has been kidnapped and brought down here by the Darklings to create this concoction that will make the giant hallucinate, and it works. And he believes that now he's gone back into the past, he's living his best life, it's peak fortress time with all his mates around, and they're just building a new section of the fortress, and he's having the best time ever. So here's the thing, Thalor, he won't leave now because he's like, if I don't keep making this potion, this concoction, this giant is going to rage, and he's going to realize that all of this was a lie. He's actually being used to dig out a section rather than be building up this, grand fortress with friends. And he's actually the last giant, and he's alone, and he's probably going to just go nuts and go up to the surface level and punish all the little humans. So that's his dilemma. I keep on giving this giant this hallucinogenic potion and he keeps doing the job for the person that kidnapped me, and I don't know who they are, and so I know it's bad. But at the same time, if I stop doing this, that giant will probably rage and be in anger and go up and just kill my family and everyone above ground. Then we got the Fae card. The Fae card, I decided I wasn't going to go too far into this as its own thing. The whole little dungeon should be riddled with Fae creatures, plants from the Fae, different things that can happen. I think that's where you get to really flesh out and build out the rooms, so that way the players have something to run into in nearly every single room. You can put some magic items that are based around the Fae if you want. There's a lot you can do there. So that one itself is more open-ended to filling out the dungeon. Finally, the Flames challenge. This one, I actually wanted it to be something that could give information but still be a bit of a challenge. So the Flames card ended up turning into somebody from the past who doesn't realize that they're dead. And so it's actually the ghost of the Stone Giant King. And he's in the throne room, but it's a hidden room that hasn't really been uncovered. The players can uncover it, and when they get there, they can sort of see depictions of what has been happening in the past, to teach them about Alder, to teach them about the sword, to teach them about how evil he was and how he was conquering the lands. And then all of a sudden he came to the Stone Giant Fortress and how they fought, and then how he was sealed. They fight the Stone Giant Ghost, and he refers to them as Alder, as this person. And even if they kill him, he almost acts as though he's reliving that sealing phase where when he was defeated by Alder, he sealed him in that stone tablet. The players also have the option to try and convince him that they are not him and that he is dead, and that, you know, they're here to solve this problem now. And if they do that, then he provides them with all this information, and then he kind of goes, it's up to you now, and he is, you know, allowed to pass on. And I just think that is a really interesting dynamic to have in D&D, because it's, yeah, fight and get the information, or try and convince and get the information otherwise. And, you know, you're not going to have a ghost giant come and help you in the battle. The point is he moves on going, I think, you know, my time's done. I already did my sealing. I've done my task. So we finally get to our last two cards, the Cavern and the Tomb. The Tomb was actually the magic item. And when I read it, it really just did say, like, you know, rare funeral possession items. So I guess things worth a lot of money. And that was kind of it. And so that's where I got this idea of a tomb as something that traps. It's an imprisonment in some cases. You know, undead come out of it in D&D a lot, you know. So I thought, okay, is it going to activate something? And then, yeah, I got this picture of Han Solo, and I just went, that's a great idea. Like, what if I did something in a similar way where, like, the actual, I guess not enemy, but the worst threat is actually sealed, and they're trying to, you know, unseal it for some reason. And then the Cavern, even though it obviously has a cavern and we're underground, for the person section in the guide, it talks about a person that will ask lots of questions but provide little information in return. And I thought, oh, that's really good. That's actually kind of like what the mayor should be. So when I was putting this together, I was actually sort of looking at all the individual pieces, looking at what they meant, and slowly but surely piecing together where I wanted all this to kind of fit. So that is actually the story that I've come up with, is that you're going to stop this resurrection of Alder, the evil elven warrior. The elf mayor is the one who's running the whole thing, and he wants to basically not just be some little town master, he wants to rule the country, as is, I guess, his birthright. And to do that, he would need to release, you know, his great uncle or grandfather or whatever. And in turn, the people that are actually helping him are the Darklings, because they want access to that weapon. They're trying to retrieve it. And at the end of the day, should they release him, the Darklings would turn on him and they take the weapon, and that would be a bigger problem for your party. So that is how I have pieced together the reading of the Deck of Many Things. I have titled this, I lost the title. It was something like Shadows Release or something, some ridiculous name, but I will leave that for you. If you enjoyed this video, let me know, and perhaps I will do a few more of them, because yeah, it was actually pretty fun to sit down and make a little one-shot that could easily be done. You know, I could run this tonight now, and it's all thanks to these cards and a little bit of research along the way and a bit of creativity, and yeah. Anyway, see you in the next one.